Imagine descending 85 meters beneath the surface, roughly the depth of a 25-story building, and feeling air move against your skin, air still flowing through shafts carved by hands that crumbled to dust centuries before you drew breath. This is Derinkuyu, and you are standing inside one of the most ingenious refuges humans have ever hollowed from stone. Pause. To understand what lies below, begin with what rises above. Cappadocia stretches across central Turkey's high plateau in Nevşehir province, a landscape so strange it seems borrowed from another world. Towering rock formations known as fairy chimneys climb skyward like flames frozen in stone, shaped over millennia by wind, frost, and rain wearing down soft rock. That rock is volcanic tuff, compressed ash deposited millions of years ago when volcanoes, including Erciyes Dağı and Hasan Dağı, erupted with immense force, blanketing the region in powdery debris that slowly hardened into material both easy to carve and strong enough to endure. The people who settled here recognized what they had, a substance that yielded to simple tools, yet held its shape once cut, and so they hollowed not just cliff sides, but the ground beneath their feet, digging downward into hidden refuges invisible from above. Across Cappadocia, archaeologists have catalogued over 200 underground sites, some little more than root cellars, others reaching across multiple levels. Yet two complexes stand apart in ambition and scale, Derinkuyu and Kaymakli. Pause. Derinkuyu drops approximately 85 meters through 18 documented levels, though visitors today may explore only about 8. The rest remain unexcavated, structurally fragile or sealed to preserve what survives. Descending strips away any expectation of comfort. Ceilings press low enough to force a stoop, corridors narrow until shoulders graze stone on both sides, and every step confirms that this tightness was deliberate, designed to slow intruders and erase any advantage of numbers. Near the surface, you pass stables hewn into alcoves where livestock sheltered during times of danger, placed high so rising body heat warmed the complex, while waste stayed near exits, carried off by moving air. Deeper down, the architecture shifts. Storage chambers once packed with grain, rooms believed to have served as wineries, with shallow basins gouged into rock for pressing grapes, kitchens where ancient soot still darkens the ceilings, and communal halls, including what appears to be a school or assembly space, its vaulted ceiling lending the silence an almost ceremonial weight. Lower still, chapels and worship areas emerge, spaces strongly linked to the Byzantine Christian communities who expanded these tunnels over generations. Binding the structure together, more than 50 ventilation shafts, some accounts cite 52 or more, climb through solid rock toward daylight. The deepest reaches roughly 55 meters and doubles as a well, delivering groundwater to those sheltering in the lowest chambers. This was not frantic digging. It was survival rendered in architecture. Pause. Consider the stone doors. Massive circular slabs, each weighing hundreds of kilograms, to carve to roll across corridor openings from the inside alone. A fist-sized hole bored through the center served a grim dual purpose. Defenders could watch approaching threats or drive a spear through without exposing themselves, while attackers faced a barrier too heavy to force and too thick to breach. These doors could seal off sections in moments, isolating entire levels, turning narrow passages into choke points, where intruders found themselves bent low in near darkness, unable to maneuver, unable to retreat. The geometry was unforgiving and exact. Pause. A short distance away, Kaymakli offers a different experience. Shallower, at roughly 40 meters across about 8 levels, 4 currently open. It spreads horizontally, rather than plunging straight down, its tunnels fanning beneath the village above like roots branching from a trunk. The same defensive logic shapes the design: rolling doors, tight corridors, ventilation shafts, and a church area carved deep within. Yet Kaymakli's lateral layout makes navigation more disorienting, easier to misjudge, almost certainly by design. A persistent claim holds that an 8 to 9 kilometer tunnel once connected Kaymakli directly to Derinkuyu. The idea stirs the imagination, but no excavation has confirmed it. For now it remains lore rather than established fact. Pause. Who carved these subterranean refuges, and when did the digging begin? Certainty escapes even specialists. Some researchers suggest the Hittites started hollowing the rock more than 3,000 years ago. Others point to the Phrygians, so dominant in the region around the 8th century BCE, and this Phrygian connection carries some of the strongest early support. The Greek soldier and historian Xenophon, writing in the 4th century BCE, described Anatolian villagers living in underground homes entered through vertical shafts, a passage often cited as an early reference to Cappadocian subterranean life, though linking it to these specific sites requires caution. What the historical record supports more firmly is that Byzantine Christians expanded the complexes dramatically between roughly the 7th and 11th centuries CE, a period when Arab raids swept across Anatolia and entire communities needed to vanish without warning. Pause. A careful correction to the mythology circulating online claims that 20,000 people lived permanently inside Derinkuyu, thriving underground for years, stretch well past the evidence. That figure represents an estimate of maximum emergency capacity, not a lasting population. Life in the depths meant near total darkness, relieved only by oil lamps, air that even well-designed shafts could not keep perfectly fresh, smoke from cooking, likely vented through those same channels, though this remains inference, and sanitation challenges that mount quickly when thousands of humans and animals share confined stone chambers for any length of time. These were refuges built for crisis, places to vanish when danger crested the horizon, to endure a siege lasting days or weeks, not underground cities where generations lived out their lives by lamplight. The truth needs no embellishment. Pause. For centuries Derinkuyu slipped from wider memory, its upper chambers reused as village cellars, while deeper levels lay sealed beneath rubble and silence, until 1963, when a resident chipping through a basement wall during renovations broke into a passage that led to another chamber, then another, then level after level descending into darkness. A forgotten world surfaced into modern awareness. In 1985, the region gained global recognition when Gorama National Park and the rock sites of Cappadocia were inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List, protecting the underground cities alongside the fairy chimneys and rock-cut churches above. Visiting today means following single-file routes, polished smooth by countless feet, ducking beneath ceilings that still demand a bow, and confronting your own tolerance for tight spaces. Claustrophobia is no abstraction here, and conservators weigh the quiet toll tourism exacts on soft, irreplaceable stone. Pause. Yet standing in these corridors, breathing air still drawn through shafts older than most nations, you sense something beyond curiosity. The people who hollowed Derinkuyu and Kaymakli faced invasion, persecution, and dangers history only partly remembers, and they answered by reshaping the earth beneath their feet. They looked at soft volcanic rock and saw not obstacle but refuge, carving safety downward stroke by patient stroke. These underground cities are more than archaeological marvels. They are testimony pressed into stone that when the world above turns hostile, we do not merely flee, we descend, we adapt, and in the stillness below we outlast.